A very good afternoon and greetings to all of you guys. So today I'm SAVINESH, son of Ravi Kumar, representing SMK Sultan YUSSUF on this wonderful afternoon to deliver my words and opinion regarding an interesting book that I came through recently. Before I started my speech, I would like to share some details about myself to all of you. Since I'm young, I'm a native reader and I love to read a lot of books. For me, reading is a very good habit and it could widen my general knowledge, especially under science. For me, reading science books can widen my knowledge so that I could use the theories which was written in the book on my experiments or during studying session at my class whereby I could score more higher and good marks during examination. So, before I started to emphasize my topic regarding classroom learning, I would like to ask three questions with you all. My first question is, what is cognitive process? My second question is, have you explored any reading materials or sources at internet about classroom learning? And my third question is, have you read any books regarding classroom learning? For sure, the answer won't be as I expected, but it's okay. Let me to emphasize more clearly regarding this topic. A few days ago, I had found an interesting book at my school's library entitled Classroom Learning, which was written by David Watkins and John Binks. This book is clearly explaining about classroom aspects, especially the things that students should do and some theories which was clearly proven by scientists that could increase the students' knowledge during learning session. This book consists 14 chapters which could provide more benefits for students, especially to widen and learn new techniques on how could they learn and to make their learning session more interesting. For teachers, they could explore this book and they could get a lot of new tips on how to carry out an interactive classes or visual learning session, especially during MCO, whereby students would be more interested to learn and overcome all the difficulties when learning new things. So now I would like to explain regarding an interesting topic that I had read on this book entitled Learning and Memory Power. When it comes to memory power, for those who wants to remember the things that they had studied for many years ago, there are three main theories that they can use so that they won't forget what they learned before. Firstly, they can use the trace decay method, associative inference method, and the third one is coding within a structured technique so that they could remember what they had learned before. On my personal opinion, I found the associative inference method is very useful because this method is helping the students to memorize symbols and formulas easily. This method is very useful for students who are studying chemistry, biology, physics, and math, science, computer, and moreover because these subjects require them to memorize a lot of symbols and formulas respectively. So I found this associative inference method is clearly helping me to understand and remember the formula for a long time. Apart from that, some of my friends is clearly telling to me that they found memorizing a symbol or formula using associative inference method could make their memory power will be more longer, and they found it's very comfortable for them to remember this formula and they said they didn't forget it. So I clearly recommended you all guys to follow this method. Using associative inference method could increase your knowledge and you could be able to memorize any type of formulas easily. Besides, I was attached with the cognitive process chapter. This is one of the most best chapter that I found out on this book because this chapter is clearly explaining on how the cognitive process is going on. This chapter had helped my teachers, especially my biology teachers and some of my friends, to explore about cognitive process, which was not included in our syllabus, and we had came to a lot of new facts regarding this process. Cognitive process is a very similar thing in this generation because it is one of the highlighted topic which is discussed by all of us, especially teachers and students. For me, this book is providing all the necessary details about cognitive process which can be used by students to widen their general knowledge, and it is one of the booster for me to study and know more about cognitive process. So I clearly recommend it for those who are interested on cognitive process. They should read this book so that they could have a better understanding regarding cognitive process. Meanwhile, I also noticed that there are some chapters focusing on how students should be at classroom and how should they be polite with teachers and so on. All of these chapters is clearly benefits the students to become a very good student with a high sense of manner. So guys, I clearly recommended you all to read this book and came through what they are telling on. Dear audience, now I would like to conclude my speech with some of necessary information that I found out from this book. First of all, I would suggest all to read this book and to explore each one of the topic clearly and make use of it. It will clearly help you to learn more easily, especially harder subjects such as science, computer, chemistry, biology, physics, and so on. So I would like to suggest you all to read this book, and I clearly could promise to you that it would help you a lot. In a nutshell, I would like to ask all of the viewers of this video to read this book so that they could enhance their skills and could increase their understanding about classroom learning. Onwards today, I would want to say that we should read a lot of books because reading books could widen our general knowledge, and for me it is very important for us to become a successful person. Thank you.